My photos are much better when I allow me into them. There we are, I've said it. It's July and I'm heading to Anglesey for 36 hours where I shall concentrate on one location only, and yes, I get to meet a bit of a hero. To make that long journey a little more palatable, we decided to go the scenic route through the Ogwen Valley in Snowdonia. I've only ever been down here once before. That was in the rain. And even though as a photographer I don't really want those blue sky days, it really brought this place alive. Wow. Now, back to this allowing yourself in malarkey. Oh, that's a nice cloud. A while ago, I was leafing through my outdoor photography magazine when I saw an image by this man, D. Griff or David Griffiths. He's a landscape photographer based on Anglesey. As you would expect, being local, his work showcases both the Isle and the nearby national park, but I find the tonality of his work particularly attractive, as well as how he captures the mood and the movement in water. Particularly in this shot, which stopped me in my tracks and made me think, I have just got to go there. It's his fault I'm here, and I told him so when I met him on the beach.
Now, I am very excited by this location. It is dreadful time of day at the moment, but I'm just doing a bit of a recce. We're currently just off high tide. As you can see, it's a bit of a slack tide. And what I'm here to see is the church in the sea. And as you can probably hear, just over there is a racetrack. I have a fairly slack tide right now, even though it is allegedly high tide. I'd want a much higher one if possible, so I could come and get these rocks more covered. However, beggars can't be choosers, so I have a recce time right now. Tomorrow morning I have a high tide which will be about 20 centimetres higher than what we have right now. And tomorrow afternoon I have another high tide that I'm going to come back to and just see what I can capture. Maybe going down to sunset as well. Well, clearly conditions right now are pretty darned poor for photography, unless I did infrared, which I have bought, although I have to confess, if I want those punchy black skies, I need to have the sun right behind me, which I do not have.
This could be interesting, particularly as I want to go in the water. Right.
Now, I've also got a bit of a weird idea. I've just got myself an action camera, and I would like to get in the water, kind of half submerge some photos, maybe just get some video of half in, half out the water, I don't know. I just want to try something a little bit different with this as well. So tomorrow, I'm not going to give you my full-on bathing suit, don't you panic. However, I will be, hopefully, growing some balls and getting in some rather chilly water. But I am definitely going to need to be careful of jellyfish. There's a lot of them. And I'm a wuss.
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Now, what I'm eventually hoping to do is to come back here and see if I can actually coordinate a very high, perhaps spring tide, with going into the night where we have clear skies and I could shoot the Milky Way over it.
In the late afternoon or evening light, the side of this church gets lit up and you've got the real contrast with the different aspects. Unfortunately, when I was there, any gorgeous post-sunset light was going to coincide with a low tide. Therefore, sunrise and a high tide, probably my only chance.
How tranquil is it here, darling?
Well, apart from the wind and the racecourse, perfect.
So the next morning, after a rude awakening at 3:50 a.m, we arrive back to have the beach to ourselves bar one other tog. And importantly, no racing. Watching the world wake up with those beautiful Snowdonia mountains in the background was just a pleasure and a privilege. This blue hour shot was just a warm-up act really. I needed to get higher so that I could capitalise on the curvature of those rocks leading to the island. Oh well, next time. And let's be honest, there are many such shots like this about. This isn't really bringing me to the table. I needed to get lots of other shots out of my head and stop comparing myself to the maestro. After all, he lives here, I don't.
Okay, I got here for high tide and I'm trying to find some interesting foregrounds simply because the sky is so flippin' clear.
It's okay, it just lacks impact. Not letting myself in. Come on, welcome.
As threatened, I have got my shorts on And I warn you now, you may get a lily white leg or two every now and then, so go and put your sunglasses on. It'll make a staggering difference.
Oh God.
I've come up to a higher elevation because what's quite nice is I'm getting the mountains in the background from Snowdonia. No direct sunlight at the moment because we've got a nice little bank of cloud right where the sun will be poking through just at this moment. So I'm just going to go a little bit higher. Let me just show you up here. Going to go a little bit higher up here just to see if there's any more acute angle so I can get more of those mountains in. I'm just aware I've got a precarious setup just behind you, and if I show you, I think you might shout at me in the comments.
And rightly so.
I mean, what the actual heck have I done there? With this higher elevation, I'm really liking the fact that I'm going slightly wider, so I'm capturing the cloud as well as the church, which is admittedly smaller in the scene, but I'm thinking perhaps going for a 3x1, which I know is my absolute darling at the moment, but it does tend to capture a sense of grandeur of a scene. And this kind of has it at the moment.
Okay, so I'm allowing myself in a little more here. I'm liking the pinks of the clouds. It's quite delicate with a negative space, but it won't be to everyone's taste. I know.
So I'm currently on F11, about 20 seconds. The light's changing quite fast. And I'm just obviously smoothing everything out. I've got some distinction in the clouds, but I'm just smoothing it out just enough so it softens those edges. I don't want to lose that distinction. That's really quite important in this shot.
And as for my 3x1, I like a blue hour shot, but it's not exactly a sexy sky.
I pretty much got this place to myself. I've got my husband somewhere over there doing some drone work and one photographer, and that's it. And that's really nice. Clouds just kissing the tops of those mountains in the background. Proper lovely. Well, instead of having the motor track this morning, I've got the oyster catchers in the background, which is really rather charming. So I think I'm going to bite the bullet now and try that action camera, which means I've got to get into the water. So, crack on.
Little did I know that getting in that water was going to transform things. And look at this procrastination.
I want that curve.
Just get in the water, woman.
I think I need to be that way.
Dump the tripod.
It's a bit slippy.
Go handheld. Get your butt in.
What I am absolutely loving is this beautiful stuff in the foreground as it sort of leads up towards the glorious church in the background. It's a stunning yellowish colour.
Crikey! What a difference a bit of sun on the sea makes. I'll take that.
And just a little bit earlier we were getting a lovely little reflection of that church in the water. It wasn't crystal clear, but it was just enough to fill a particular area of my scene. So now I have reached the part where I'm just going to go up the beach. I'm going to dump all of my expensive kit and I'm going to just get into the sea with my new little camera and see if I can collect some video of seaweed and stuff underneath and just see what's under there. What on earth is going on with that?
As you might expect from someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, outcomes were variable. Lovely to be there, lovely to experience, even if I did get a soggy bottom. But yes, I even went back and did it again in the afternoon. Look at me go. Lessons learnt for next time. That's all I can say. And then I got properly in the water. Well, what a revelation this was.
One more shot. Nice bit of floating seaweed on that side and that in the background. A handheld, then back to the van.
So, whilst my husband shot some nosy bullocks, I got in the water and took my favourite shot of this entire trip. Lads! This shot gives me joy. I've allowed myself in and done something just a little bit different. I've also processed it in what someone described last week as a bit of a dreary way. I get that, but that's my phase I'm going through at the moment, and I'm sticking with it. I rather like the muted tones, to be fair. Wonder if this would look good on my wall.
Well, I am back for a second afternoon here, just after high tide. I know these are absolutely not ideal conditions in any way, shape or form. I bought my infrared camera, I bought my ordinary camera. I don't think I'm going to get anything, but it's really lovely to spend a little bit of time here. I've also just had a lovely long conversation with David Griffiths, who is responsible for me coming here, not that he ever knew it in the background, so I'm feeling a little bit buoyed up at the moment. Bravo.
Okay, so it is me, but this black and white version of an infrared is a little bit too busy for my liking. So back to the higher elevation, which is only passable because of those clouds. A gorgeous church and my beloved.
Who could ask for more?
Indeed. I've only got 2 shots this week that I want to share with you, and they're because I feel I've let myself in and not just been influenced by others.
Anyway, thank you for joining me at a place that I've wanted to come to for a very long time. Wherever I am next time, I very much look forward to taking you with me. Meanwhile, have a cracking couple of weeks.